Good day, mobilers. Good day, everyone listening to this podcast. And that podcast is the very last one of 2025. We obviously are looking so much forward to 2026, but I thought that, we shouldn't just close 2025 without looking back at what has been achieved in 2025. I couldn't do this alone. So Steve is here with us. Hello, Steve.
Hey guys.
Good to have you. And our dear WMTx Lady is also kindly joining us all the way from Europe.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Thank you.
How are
Via
you?
the magic of the internet.
That's it.
Yeah, incredible.
The internet. Yes. So thank you so much for taking the time, because you've actually wrote so many great articles this year, and you've enlightened the community with your knowledge, with your experience. And Steve, we've been doing quite a few podcasts. Also, massive kudos to Vicky. Vicky, who unfortunately can't join us, she's having a bit of internet issues. But I'll really look forward to the next episode we will do in 2026 with Vicky. So let's get started. And I thought that, we will just... So nothing is scripted in this podcast, because I like things, natural, the way we think about things and the way we actually feel them. And I wanted to ask you both a question: is if you were to pick just the one item, the one thing, the one delivery or whatever it is that really stood out to you in 2025, what would that be and why? So Steve, we'll start with Lady.
Sure.
So I'll let you go. See what we've got.
If I have to pick one word,
Just one.
it will be scale. Because I was on a flight last week, and it's like flight within Europe, so they don't last for hours, and I like to check like my old pictures, and I came across the first screenshots of the World Mobile Explorer while we were still active in Zanzibar. I mean, we were having a couple of thousand of users. And when we look at where we at right now, we're at 2.8 million. I think that over the course of the last 2 to 3 weeks, we saw 100,000 new users. So I think that scale is a correct word. I think that 2025 was really the proof that we went from a pilot phase to, okay, we can really scale this into millions of users. And in 2026, we can really add in the other parameters that make World Mobile the project, on which we can come back later. But for me, it was really scaling and the proof that the model is feasible and we can deploy it for millions of users.
Yeah, I mean, scalability in the model, but also in the tech.
Yes.
We have a chain that can handle all these millions of transactions, and we have the backend systems, the telco cores, and all of these incredibly complex infrastructure, which is scaled alongside those users.
Yeah, I mean, in IT, often when something works, we kind of got to take it for granted. We're like, okay, it works. But if we look also at World Mobile Chain that went live this year, it was a couple of years in the making. But when you see the billions of transactions that it's processing, it's made for deepen, it's unique. So yeah, the World Mobile Chain was also a very, very big accomplishment and ties into that level of scale that's being deployed or that has been deployed.
Yeah, I think people...
It's certainly good to see World Mobile Chain get off the ground this year. That was a big moment.
Yeah, that was a big moment. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
like people take it for... kudos.
That was a big accomplishment.
It was massive. Like people take it for granted. We go and we add couple NOs. Oh, we got an extra 100,000 users. Try imagining like 100,000 people in your home, and 100,000 people is a lot of people. Or any sort of business to acquire 100,000 people like this in one go. And we went from, I think it was So November last year, around the 90,000 users, and now we're at 2.8 million. I can think of some telcos that are still trying to reach their first million users. Like here in Australia, for example, some MVNOs, they're struggling just to, because you need a lot of money, you need a lot of capital. But every user that we acquire is actually incredible to me. So I'm 100% with you. Scale is the word of 2025. Steve, what's your word for 2025?
Yeah, definitely. The growth was a major, in the air nodes, in everything basically. The statistics basically, the air nodes, the number of subscribers, all of that. But one of the things that stood out a lot to me is just how much the demand is there for the owning of the infrastructure side. Like the air nodes just continue to sell out in seconds or minutes. They do not last long. Like the appetite is really there to, the people wanting to own a part of the network. So I think that's, like it's been a battle for a lot of people to get those air nodes, right?
It has. Look, I think it's the latest figures I've seen for the year. People recap and have a look at what they've been earning. It's around the 34 to 40% APY. So I mean, it's understandable. On that note, I just have to mention that nothing that we say here is financial advice. But yeah, Steve, you're right, because we're approaching the 100,000 air nodes. That in itself is also, 100,000 pieces of, gear of electronics that's been deployed. On it, it's
and some of them, it's like those Titans. Whenever the Titan comes up, it doesn't take long, and they're sold. It's $100,000. It's
and there's a lot of appetite for that.
There's a lot of appetite for it.
Yeah. So I think, joining those two elements, scale. And the appetite and the demand. I think the way I would summarize this is that it's the year where we actually we prove the model. So essentially, as it is working. There is a lot of demand, and we are ready for scale. I think that's what to jump into 2026, because what happened in 2025, I guess put it generally speaking, I would say 24 and 25 was the year World Mobile built all the pieces of the infrastructure that were needed to go and start rolling out, really.
And so far it's really been built for them to roll out, and now we're moving into the era where it's going to be, given up to the community so that they can do the building and they can do the rolling out, and that's where the scale will really kick in to a higher gear.
Network builders.
Yeah.
So network builders, as we speak, as we record this podcast, is really on the verge of being rolled out. This is a massive endeavor. We were talking about it, WMTx Lady, before the podcast. The amount of complexity around the legal teams having to cross check everything, and then regulation, getting all the statistics. I think it's 40,000 hexes in America. So go and grab all the stats around population density and finding a price for each of those hexes, and make sure you don't get it wrong. Like it's very complex, and the fact that it's also built to allow to actually be deployed into different countries, so Korea and the Philippines and other countries. So I think that is a very exciting piece of tech that network builders.
Yeah, it'll be more exciting when it comes to Australia, Dave, because I don't think I want to operate a hex remotely in the US. That would be, a little too difficult, I think. But certainly excited for our American friends. A little jealous as well, but we'll just have to live with that.
I was thinking about something. I was reading about Uber last week and their marketing strategy, because Mickey, in the last couple of AMAs, he said, okay, World Mobile, our goal is to be a household name in the US in a year from now, to really be well known. And when you take a look at Uber, how they did it, Uber is not the company, certainly not here in Europe, that is doing commercials every 5 minutes. They kind of had like a grassroots approach, and they kind of tackled city per city with kind of creating liquidity between drivers and riders and matching them together and addressing that. And then also in some way doing promotion that, okay, you can own your car and you can drive people around and you can get money for it. There were quite some similarities where I went like, okay, I understand the bottom up approach, but Miki also said, okay, but do not forget we're also building partnerships, because if you look back at 2025, if you take a step back, World Mobile accompanying Coinbase to the US Senate, I mean, I got goosebumps. I mean, like, how many projects are really representing what crypto can do and how we can tackle big issues in the US in terms of on connectivity? World Mobile is standing out in those areas. So I see a lot of similarities, and I'm really looking forward. David, like you said, 2025 is the year where you built the foundation of your house. Now we're like, moving on to the finishes. Let me say it that way. So that's also what stood out for me.
Yeah, there's been some hints around that we will soon in the next year see something that comes from this Coinbase stuff. So that'll be very interesting to see what's happening there.
Oh, definitely.
Coinbase Mobile or something. I don't know, but there's been something brewing there for a while. Yeah. And looking forward to seeing that for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
is that your other question, Dave? What are we looking forward to next year? Is that,
No, we'll speak about this, of course. But back onto Coinbase, people take it for granted and say, Coinbase is listing those meme coins. It's too easy, and we managed to get a listing on Coinbase, and that is a massive feast, because it's close to a year of back and forth with the listing team at Coinbase. They require a lot. They do a lot of due diligence when it comes to a project that are not meme coins, because a meme coin, it's very easy for them to list. There is zero due diligence because they say it's a meme coin, it doesn't do anything. So here you go. We will not endorse any of it, but we will list it. When it comes to a deep in project, an infrastructure project, there is a lot of accountability.
Yeah, if you're claiming to be something different, then
and that's what people don't realize, how complex and those listings I've heard could take almost 2 years just to get on Coinbase. So that was 2025 as well, massive achievements.
Yeah, and I think that in the US we saw the Genius Act that was published, I think, during the summer. The goal is to have some more, I would have to say, clarity around the regulatory framework about tokenized assets. But also a couple of days ago, we saw the publication of Tokenvest, which is a company in Dubai. I went on their website. They are really serving institutional investors. And when you take a look at the press release, it's really all about, okay, let's tokenize real world assets and let's also open that pathway. So, I mean, those type of initiatives are huge. And when you see everything coming together, we talked a bit about before. It's like a little bit, if you have a tiny little snowball and you push it off the mountain, it becomes bigger. And that's a little bit what we're seeing happening. So that's also
back on that partnership, it's we're gonna bring close to 120,000 piece of infrastructure air nodes as RWA on chain, on the World Mobile chain itself. So this is something that's going to make World Mobile stand out, really.
Yeah, and when I hear people say, okay, but why does the project have a token? I mean, the token is at the heart of it all. And Miki was talking also about air node staking. So we can imagine that if WMTx is staked to an air node, your returns are even higher. So you have to imagine if we offer that to institutional investors, value also that it gives to WMTx. So it's really like a bundled approach. And we were talking about it. WMTx is really at the core of everything. And Miki is emphasizing this. And I think that we will come and see that more clearly as we evolve into 2026.
Definitely.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. But back on those partnerships, and that's something we can reflect on 2025. We also had a lot of partnerships that came in the equation. Like what springs to mind is Zebec. So I do have on my phone as Zebec Mastercard. We had obviously partnership with Base. We attended the Base camp, and then we deployed the base app, the World Mobile base app, Giggle Academy, obviously SK Chain, 51 nodes. So I mean, to me, like as I was reflecting on 2025, what happened in 2025. The list seemed almost infinite.
It's
And when you
certainly
think
a
that,
lot more than anything that in the previous years, right? It's been an
like,
exponential sort of leap in the amount of stuff happening for World
it has
Mobile
been,
for that year. Yeah.
and 2025 is only 52 weeks. Like, and think about 52 weeks. It's not long. It's not much. I mean, WMTx Lady, in your field of work, projects. You measure them in weeks, in dozens of weeks, and maybe at times. So it's just a small amount of time, 52 weeks, to deliver all those partnerships for Apple, just to start with. And we talked about Coinbase, but we did get Kraken listing, and the other thing that Coinbase is going to do, being such a well-regarded and respected exchange, is open the doors to many more exchanges, and it did. We saw it with Bitvavo.
The big one, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't take long for them to realize that, well, hang on, if Coinbase is listing WMTX, we should probably take a good look at it. Look, and I think it's quite obvious, at least to me, that the next one to jump on board is an exchange that starts with B and end with Inance. I think it's inevitable.
It'll come at some point. But there's also plenty of other exchanges that I think will be knocking down the door at the moment. Yeah.
And one thing we actually again take for granted is this. 2025 was the year we actually rebranded.
The rebranding, yeah.
Like, it feels like it's been there forever, but that rebranding was genius.
Yeah, it's much better. It's much better than the logo, the color, all of that. Yeah, they really did a great job on that. Yeah,
like we simulate that FFF 533 color to World Mobile now. Like, if you just go on X, everyone with their background, and it's so much easier to do marketing as well. Just to get that brand appropriation, it's so much better. So that was a massive milestone to me. Is that positioning, that brand. Amongst a lot of other things. But anything else, WMTx Lady, that you'd say that you remember from last year?
I think that the Uplift partnership with Tristan Thompson, okay, we're going to see it deploy now. And I know that it did the kickoff 2 weeks ago in Harlem. But I think that being associated with, Tristan, he's an ex-NBA basketball player, but he's now heavily invested in all that's Web3, is really also a testimony of someone that has a reputation and that believes in the project. And I really like the idea behind Uplift, so that you have a community where air nodes are deployed. And then when you are there, you can use the infrastructure there for a limited amount. I think it's $9.99 a month. So these are also the types of initiatives where I'm going like, okay, it's also making a dent for people that maybe cannot afford because I used to live in the US and I know how expensive telecom is there. I think my monthly bill, it was almost $100 or even more with TV in it. In Europe, it's still expensive, but not as high. So I think that those type of initiatives really lower the threshold for people to enter. And once again, I like the grassroots approach. It's like really community owned, community built. There's like another vibe of marketing surrounding it. And that was also an element that stood out for me. Once again, I'm really looking forward to see how it will all be deployed, and the users and the subscribers that we will get from that.
Yeah, I really feel like grassroots is something that lasts, compared to a bombarding of advertisement, and forcing it down your throat. And you must take on World Mobile. But the grassroots approach is such a long lasting, I think, approach. I feel. Steve, anything else that you remember?
I was thinking about something just before, and now I've forgotten it. So I'll try and remember.
I've got one, and that is a big one that occurred. I think it was August. WMS Stratospheric, World Mobile Stratospheric.
Yeah.
That's, and I've put a couple posts about it because I don't think people yet realize and grasp how massive this is. Like on every
potentially
angle.
Right. So there's still some hurdles to overcome there. Actually building an aircraft, I know the design's there and everything else, but still getting it test flight and working and up there and servicing areas, it's still a long, a bit of a haul to go yet, but it is certainly, it was such a great opportunity. The tech that was been developed over many years, and World Mobile just happened to be in the right sort of position and with their eyes open to that sort of opportunity, and managing to pick that up, I think, is a massive win for World Mobile. I'm surprised it wasn't picked up by like British Telecom or somebody like this first,
or even by SpaceX, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Because I wrote about this. When I saw this, straight away I thought, okay, we sit right in between SpaceX and the users on the ground, and there's no way we will not benefit from this. And if you look closely at a post that I made about this, talking about a recent interview where Elon Musk was saying that, the physics does not allow satellites to actually, provide internet connection to 8 billion people on Earth, but just the 1% of cities. I think Mickey reposted this and said, do not be surprised if you see further collaboration with SpaceX when it comes to WMS. And I think there is potentially something there, definitely. That's the way I see it. It's just a no-brainer that we've acquired the technology that will help the industry, push those AI data center in space, for example. Because once the compute is done or the inference is done, you need to bring the data back down. If you want to train the model up there, you want to have a gateway to that. So I think we are positioning ourselves in such a beautiful spot. And as you say, Steve, picking this up was just incredible. There's that is almost the highlight for me. It is not something, we won't see the plane before 2027, early 27 at best. But this is how you position yourself, and you become a leader.
You did a great interview with Gregory.
Yes, we love that one. Yeah.
And I have to say, David, it completely yellow pilled my 72-year-old dad, who's an engineer, who always believed that hydrogen was the future. So now he's always going like, when can I invest in a Stratonode? When? I'm like, Dad, it's not gonna be next month, but it's gonna come. But he's completely he's completely passionate about it, and he's been reading up about it, and he's like so excited. Like you said, David, is like, okay, Starlink has its limitation, but there's potential for collaboration, and even like that way you can cover large areas. It's much more cheaper than the towers. He has built like sometimes my mom goes like, okay, you guys get a bottle of wine and this 2 hours now. But it's really, really cool to see it all come together. So I really do agree. World Mobile Stratospheric is very cool. I agree that maybe we'll not see something in production before 2027, but I have to admit a prototype before August 31 next year will kind of arrange me, because I have a bet with a colleague. And he went like, "Oh no, I don't think that's going to work." I'm like, "I think it's going to work. You'll see." So I have a bet.
No, I'll speak with Gregory. We'll make it happen.
Just
so you don't lose your bet.
Let's it's for a bottle of champagne. So I like my champagne.
That's all right. I'll make it happen.
Okay, great.
So that's talking about SpaceX and Starlink. Africa. So we had was it Andy? I think this. Gave us some insight about Giggle Academy and what we're doing with Starlink backhaul. I think I forgot the number, but whether it's in the tens of thousands. I think the amount of kids that we actually connect in Africa, that we provide them with internet in schools. I could be wrong, but 30,000 is what I've got in mind. But it's a lot of kids that between Kenya, Malawi, Tanzania, Mozambique. So using Starlink as a backhaul and our antennas, it's we're doing a lot of good there already. We don't realize. That. So that is again something else. One thing I had to mind as well is the Chainlink. I don't know if you, because that is something, again, it's kind of under the radar, but if you think about it,
it adds a lot of utility to being able to get the token all through different systems, different blockchains. Yeah.
So similarly to the RWA partnership, WMTx Lady that you mentioned, all these little things, little pieces of the puzzle that may seem insignificant at the time, they will be there, ready to go as soon as network builders is rolling out, as soon as we're doing air staking, as soon as we've got the US SIM cards rolling out with all the MVNOs or DMVNE over there. So it was a year where we put all the essential part of the puzzles, all the stones, the stepping stones. We haven't talked about another thing, which is token terminal.
Sure.
That is a big thing. Look, because maybe in a week or two, hopefully, we will have a full view of the network, of revenue, of buybacks, automated buybacks, transparency.
Yeah, that's it. It is good to have such a sort of highly respected platform in terms of data, and World Mobile being up there and visible and researchable by anybody that wants to look into it. Right, that's super important. Yeah.
Transparency creates a level of credibility. The integration on token terminal, it's been validated. It's like you have a proof of transparency, credibility on it. So when the buybacks are really going to kick in, because let's not forget the buybacks are limited right now because we're in Pakistan also. They're not really subscribers, they're users. So, the ARPU is extremely low. But when you take a look at the US, it's X times higher. So the buybacks are going to exponentially scale.
It's going to be fun to watch those charts on Token Terminal, isn't it?
It's so fun. We have phone plan staking. And I told you, David, I'm working on a Monte Carlo simulation. But even when you have like 20, 30,000 users, or maybe we have a Coinbase collaboration, and we only calculate that X percentage of those are going to stake, you already have a huge supply taking out of the market. We have air node staking coming up. We have Unity nodes. We have so many things. We have the gas fees that are going to scale exponentially. So we have so many different things going on that are ready to roll. And I agree with you both. For me, the greatest feeling ever is going to be one day waking up and the market is just like bloody red. It's a bear market. And then you have just token terminal buybacks, everything coming into motion, and us just being green and just growing. Yeah. And when we grow, the token grows, the economic system grows, network building is going to deploy. We're maybe going to go into different countries. We have South Korea. So, there's a lot of things going on. So it's going to be fun to watch. That's what I'm looking forward to 2026.
Yeah, Mickey did mention 2026, the year of South Korea, of Philippines, of USA and Europe, and not to forget that we also have, I think, Mexico, Argentina. So a lot of stuff.
It's going to be busy, Dave. It's going to be a busy year. We need to have a good rest over Christmas, I think. Because, next year is going to be crazy. It's going to be wild.
We need a good rest. Because on top of this, WMTx Lady, you just mentioned Unity node coming in the equation, because those buybacks, 12.5% of the revenue going in. And look, Unity is mind-blowing when you look at it. 900 cities, over 90 countries. Think of a company that would be able, in just the space of 20 days, or let's say a month, spring a network of users around the world like this.
Yeah, well, that's the power of the people, Dave. That's
Yes.
decentralized power, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's really cool because it's not something that you can duplicate in a centrally or in a lab-based way. It's not a simulation that you can do. You can only do it if you have that exponential reach on the edge of
Mm-hmm.
people now currently using their smartphones, but Joss mentioned that in the future it can maybe be laptops or other stuff. So that's really cool seeing that into action and seeing that grow. I know that some people are a little bit impatient. I can understand that, but you also have to be aware that it's the first time that this is being deployed on the edge. So there's a need of calibration and making sure that everything works. But you mentioned the buybacks, David, but I did a poll and I asked people, okay, if you can claim your Unity rewards, will you do it in fiat? Will you do it in main cryptos? Or will you do it in WMTx? There were like 15-20% of the people that went like, oh, I'm going to claim full WMTx. Maybe I'm going to do that also. But you have so many different elements taking into account. It's like a whirlwind of things coming up. So like Steve said, we're going to need our rest over Christmas because I think 2026 is going to be the year that we're going to see it all in the action.
Yeah,
Yep.
100%.
Yeah, there's been a
100%.
lot of building of bits and pieces, a lot of working in different sort of all these different things. And we're just at that point where all the system, all the little bits and pieces are sort of coming together and it's just integrating into one massive sort of launch and everything's starting to work together properly. And yeah, it's going to be crazy. I can't wait.
Yeah, look, I think it's very clear that we all look forward to 2026. But I would not, end this podcast before I send my deepest, thank you and respect for all the hard work that the World Mobile, the WM team has put in 2025. I think we totally underestimate how much has been delivered, how much they've invested themselves 6-7 days a week, working incredible hours, flying around the world, and all of this for us, for the community, for the world. So a huge thank you to everyone.
Yeah, a special shout out to the devs because, while we're in the Earth node operator calls and stuff, we get to, see a little bit from the devs and stuff. But I guess the public and most people that aren't sort of, maybe they're just token holders or whatever, that aren't into those, can't get into those discussions and videos and stuff, those talks, then they don't really get to see how much effort and work that the devs are putting in and how hard they're working. And so yeah.
And the type of tech that has been delivered. I've mentioned this before, but Alan did explain that the World Mobile chain is going to be more than just World Mobile chain. And I think being quantum resistant, having all these top of the tech deliveries, I think it will allow us to deliver again. I think similar to WMS, is putting us in a position where Cloudflare, has its own problems, and having that decentralized, trusted, and very robust product there is going to open a lot of doors. WMTx Lady, what would be your last words for 2025?
I think I would like to join your words, David. I think that the team has delivered an incredible piece of tech. What has been built, I'm just in awe. I also would like to thank the community because it's really cool that indeed I'm in Europe, your guys are in Australia, and we share the same passion. I can see that there are a lot of passionate people that believe in the project. And I'm just looking forward to 2026 and maybe seeing you guys in Las Vegas. I don't know if your guys are planning to come to Rare Evo maybe, but maybe we can join up in real life.
Oh, for sure. Wherever it is, we'll definitely have to catch up. Okay. 100%. Steve?
Yeah, everybody just really spend some time with your family, have a good break, recharge, and get ready for what's coming in 2026. It's going to be wild.
It will be. Well, I think a big thank you to you as well, WMTx Lady, and Steve for the beautiful year we spent together, and I really look forward to 2026. On that note, we'll catch up next year. Take care.
See you guys.
Bye. Nice holidays.